Okay, welcome back to AT10. You're about to see the start of the quarterfinals. I'm Kill2. I'm joined by the exquisitely dressed Ravy, and we're about to watch HUN Reloaded fight Godfathers. Why don't you let us know what we're looking at?
HUN Reloaded have chosen not to switch things up. They're back with Vargers. We've got 2 Vargers, a Sleipnir, a Tengu, a Scimitar, and then a Hawk, 3 Merlins, and 3 Jaguars. While Godfathers have brought a Mimitar Rush team. 2 Sleipnirs, 4 Cyclones, Scimitar, 4 Sabres, and a Jaguar. I really think that Godfathers would have been better off if they brought some jamming to go along with this team.
Yeah, it's really surprising that, I mean, not super surprising, but you would think by now everyone would sort of account for the possibility that Vargers are going to be part of the HUN setup since they have been in every single match that's mattered to HUN. And just throwing in a couple Griffins or something instead of those Sabres could go a long way against a team like this.
But here we go. This match is just beginning. It's worth noting that the Tengu for HUN Reloaded that they're using in this match has both Warfare Link subsystems and the Afterburner subsystem. So it will be using its 100 MN Afterburner to run around the edge of the arena and give shield bonuses to those Vargers, make their tank even more ridiculous.
So I have to think that for now, Godfathers is doing exactly what HUN would want. They charged right over top of the Vargers that were sitting on the beacon along with their Sleipnir, and the rest of the HUN support spread out heading away from the beacon.
That Sleipnir is going into armor. It's not tanking quite enough.
This is a lot of damage on the Godfather side. So many battlecruisers.
If they can break through that Sleipnir and then take down maybe some Frigs, this could go their way very easily. Because right now they're holding up quite well. Their Simi is under some fire, but he's not webbed, and the Sabres are taking damage, but also not webbed.
I guess this is because the tracking disruption on the Godfather's team is, wow, look at him tank. I can hear the studio laughing because he's hanging in there.
That Sleipnir's hanging with just a sliver of structure. If they can
Saber down, that's some DPS. I mean, if they can trim off the DPS on the Godfather side and from that support, they might be able to hold it.
Now,
oh my god!
Sleipnir, however, has got to be using an ASB, so once he runs out of charge, he's going to go down. But him staying alive this long means more DPS applied to these Sabres, possibly more into the Scimitar, and that's going to make a big difference in this fight.
Yeah,
wow, Sleipnir's already
crazy.
All the way back up.
And getting back to full shields before his boosters run out could be really important. It might potentially give him time to reload if he's able to pull some range. The web just dropped off of him with that Saber kill, so he can get moving now.
Yep, killing these Sabres is an excellent choice for HUN Reloaded. Meanwhile, that Scimitar they're firing on is webbed, so he's going to be going down a lot faster now. He's being webbed and neuted. The neuts coming from the Vargers with their utility highs.
Yeah, I was just going to check on that. I don't think he had been webbed up to that point, but now he's caught for sure. And Vargers on top of him will mean he's done pretty quick.
But there goes the Varger shields a little bit. The Varger is one of the new target from the Sleipnirs. We're going to see if he can get broken, but it looks like that Scimitar is going to die first. And with that, those Cyclones will disappear fast under the fire from the Vargers.
Now, how do you feel about going to the Varger instead of going to the HUN Reloaded Scimitar? That's a little surprising to me, but
it looks to me like the Scimitar is going to be far enough away from everything to. Can you use the zoom in on Scimitar there?
Yeah.
But
a second ago.
I'm pretty sure that he's not going to be within range to get hit by anything. So it's a question of chasing down. Yeah, he's way out there.
Yeah.
He's got some Frigs guarding him, actually. There's no way that they're going to be able to catch him in the time it would take them to do it. That Varger is going down a bit. He's probably going to die during his reload cycle. But
all Sabres down for Godfathers, though. That's a decent chunk of their DPS.
And they're working on a Cyclone.
Yep, starting to work on a Cyclone next. So
now the Cyclone will also be ASB tanked himself. So all of these ships are going to have strong ASB tanks. If they can somehow keep him up longer than the Varger, they'll be in great position, but that's going to be a long shot.
Yeah, that seems sort of unlikely. It looks like they can break him even with the ASB. It's just taking a little while. But definitely happening, and the Varger's holding at about half shield, so he's
the Varger's doing a lot better now. And that Cyclone is down into armor and structure, and he's about to disappear. This is HUN Reloaded in a very strong place. We were talking before the match, kind of wondering whether HUN Reloaded was going to keep bringing these Vargers. I've talked before about how HUN may want to be playing chicken with the opponents, trying to get them to think, well, there's no way they're going to bring Vargers again. It's also possible, though, considering that the last time HUN Reloaded won a tournament, they did it with basically one great setup repeated over and over again, that they're trying to do the same this year.
Yep, when they won, you said it was AT4?
It was AT4,
It was a bomber setup, and they just stuck with it the whole time. It worked out for them. Second Cyclone now for Godfathers going down.
That
leaving
Varger
only
is
4
also dropping low,
left.
but once that Cyclone goes down, I don't think they're going to be able to break him. He'll be able to survive to a reload with the help of the Scimitar.
Yep.
So HUN Reloaded sitting in the driver's seat at this point.
Definitely. Yeah, hanging on to that logistics, having control of the match at the start because all the battlecruisers had to come over top of the Vargers, definitely put them in the position they wanted to be in, and it looks like they were able to get enough stuff out of the way that they'll be able to just stabilize here, hang on for the rest of the match.
Yeah.
I have to feel critical of the Saber selection for Godfathers. Those ships are not only could they maybe be something that's good against Vargers like Griffins or Kitsunes, but they also are pretty easy to kill for the Vargar team.
Yes. They're a huge amount of DPS, especially DPS that's good at killing frigates.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have other ways of tackling, they're not great tackle. They are too vulnerable, too easily killed. And they were relying on them, I think, for tackle, because we're not seeing a single web on the entire HUN Reloaded side right now.
Yep. So Cyclone number 3 down. They're switching to Cyclone number 4 right now. It looks like Godfather's still just committed to shooting HUN Reloaded Vargar instead of trying to do anything else, but that's about their only option
At
right
this
now.
point, yeah, everything else is going to be either far away or just tanking too well with the help of the Scimitar in the case of the Frigs. And there goes another Cyclone dropping into armor, and he'll disappear in a second. Now, do you think there's any chance that HUN Reloaded can take the Vargars all the way? They do have a couple different Vargar setups. The last one was 3 Vargars, this one's 2 Vargars and a Sleipnir and a Tengu. But do you think there's any chance they can go all the way with one type of setup?
It seems really unlikely. It seems really unlikely that at some point someone won't just say, okay, we have to do something that's good against Vargars. And there's definitely things out there. It's not like this is some perfect setup that can beat everything that can possibly be fielded. And at some point, someone's just going to say, okay, we're going to make sure that you can't bring Vargars.
Yeah. There are teams in this bracket, I think, that will be able to beat the Vargars, so they're going to need to switch it up. Now, that being said, winning with the Vargars means that if they switch it up at the last minute, it could be a giant mind game. Yeah,
if they choose the right time to switch, and maybe they, have that in mind already and have something good to go against the counter for the Vargars, they could be in a really good place. I mean, they can have a better position on the things that are going to be fielded against them than most of the other teams that have really mixed setups.
So it's funny, at this point, our evaluation of HUN setups are either that they are tactical geniuses or they're stuck in a rut and are eventually going to pay for it. And there's no way for us to know, or for anyone else to know, until it comes down to the time when they face a team that can beat it. So the last Sleipnir under fire now, 1 ship left for the Godfathers, and whoever wins the next match between PL and Darkside is going to have to come up against HUN Reloaded. I'm pretty confident that both PL and Darkside understand the Vargar setup well enough to beat it.
Okay.
So it's just a question, I think, of if they're going to be too afraid to really hard counter the Vargar, thinking that HUN might switch it up, or if HUN will switch it up and go with something completely new. That'll be fascinating to see.
The mind games make my head hurt. It's really tough to know.
And there goes that last Sleipnir.
Anyway, for now, HUN Reloaded still making the Vargars work. They've looked really good, and they continue to. And we'll send you guys back to the studio and see you in a few minutes.